Yeah. What's really happening? It's your boy OG Gigaveli with another episode of Street Code of Conduct. Today's episode and topic will be playing catch up. Playing catch up. A lot of us out here pocket watching, envying, looking at other people's success, and it's costing. It's costing us to stagnate. It's costing us to fall behind, and actuality watching somebody else pocket. I'm gonna share with y'all a time when I suffered from playing catch up. I'm reading straight from the book. Y'all know I'm the author of the book Pressure, and I'm gonna show you why there's so much jewels that I'm dropping in this book. Let me read and get into the story right fast. Then I'm gonna talk about it once I get through with it. All right, y'all come on. Let's go to Miami for a minute. Let's go down to the bottom. It was 1991. Shit was different from the 80s. It seemed like everybody was getting money in Miami. The clothes were more expensive. New designers was popping up. Everybody was rocking Tommy Hilfiger, Nautica, Polo. Jordan had the shoe game on a whole nother level. When I left, you still could have got fresh with and clean for like $150 to $30, $300. Shout out to the USA Flea Market. You could have went up in the flea market and got fresh with $150 to $30, $300. You know what I mean? At that time in the 80s. For a whole outfit. $150 to $300, you was good. You know what I mean? I'll explain that to y'all a little later. But let me go ahead and finish reading, right? Now the shoes was costing $150, $200. With the shirts at $100. You know, I remember the Tommy Hilfiger shirts $100 or more. And another $100 or better was on a pair of pants. It was a whole nother level at this time in the 90s. Not to include that all the young guys my age was pushing whips on rims. Shout out to them boys, you know what I mean, that was coming through back in the day with the 30s and lows and the 50s and lows. Young cats, right? My age. So thinking the way that I did, I put a lot of stress on me. Thinking about playing catch up, watching everybody else's situation. I felt like I should be balling and rolling around just like the rest of the guys my age out here in the streets. Besides, I had been hustling before a lot of them. Most of these young niggas will be the same niggas that ran up to me in juvenile hall or up the road in Okeechobee Boys School. But I had owed it to my mom and my daughter to try to do the right thing. I found me a job washing dishes. It was way out from the hood, so I wasn't too worried about anybody seeing me working there. Although I was trying to be legit, I still had a reputation to think about. I was back in school at Miami Central at the time. It was lit out there. Shit at school was where everybody was showing off the fruits of their hustle. All the young niggas that was getting money in the streets came to school to gamble. Yeah, there was big dice games everywhere, every day. Niggas would be selling dope, guns, cars, whatever you was looking for, right there at the school. I was always in the mix of all of it, trying to, straddle the fence between good and bad. The good was losing. I started missing class, skipping school altogether. I was smoking weed, hanging out with other young niggas, trying to get out. Instead of advancing, I started robbing. I started robbing again. I said this time I found a new way to rob, so I wouldn't be facing so much time after seeing how much time they had gave me and KK for the shit that we had done. But listen, I'm gonna stop right there, right? I don't have to go anymore. I don't have to go any further, right? Like I tell you, I'm not gonna be giving y'all all the book. I'm giving you little pieces. But in relation to playing catch up, right? For those of y'all that don't know the part of the story that I didn't read, I was just leaving Okeechobee Boys School. I had went in 88 and I got out in 91, right? I had did a little over 16 months in Okeechobee Boys School. But when I got out and came back to Miami, it was in the 90s, the early 90s, 91. Things had done changed. in that little bit of time. It don't take long for you know how this thing go out here in the world. As you be in jail, things slow down, but in the world, things are constantly speeding up, right? So when I got back to Miami, all my little homeboys that I had done left in the streets, shout out to OJ, shout out to them boys in Robin Hood, you know what I mean? Shout out to Paul, Johnny Wade, you know what I mean? All them boys, I had went out to Miami Central, so y'all know, if y'all don't know, Miami Central is located in Robin Hood, right there on 95th. I come back to school, it was different. You couldn't go to like I mentioned, the flea market, going to get fresh for $150 to $300. Back then, you could went up in the flea market, got you a pair of Travel Fox. I'm talking about in the 80s. Got you a pair of, Clarks. Throwed you a nice little Dickie set on. You know what I mean? And, or a nice little silk short set or a linen short set to go to Clarks. You know what I mean? And you were fresh. Right? It wasn't so much about name brand. It was just all according to how you match your stuff up. You get yourself together, right? Throw your little Kango on. All that I just mentioned was up under $150, $300. And you was clean. You was able to go out and do your little thing. You know what I mean? And you was, you was good. But when I came back home, it was all about designer. Designer had done took over. Polo was everywhere. Tommy Hilfiger was on the scene. Nautica was on the scene. Just to name a few of the designers that we were rocking in the early 90s, right? Cross Color was doing this thing. These designers had started, Carl Canal, these designers had started putting $100 to $200 just for the shirt. Throw a pair of Guess jeans, Edward jeans, you know what I mean? I always been a fashionable guy, man. Anybody that know me from the streets of Miami, I always try to, keep myself together. That was one of the biggest things, and a lot of guys that I rock with was the same way. So when I came home, a lot of these cats had already had a little head start. They hadn't been locked up, right? They hadn't been locked up. So now I find myself playing catch up. I find myself pocket watching. I find myself adding this pressure onto myself. Ain't nobody, put this pressure on me. There was something that I was self-inflicting on myself by watching somebody else in their season. You know what I mean? And that's my advice. That's what I want to get to y'all today, man. Is talk to my young cats that's in the streets, right? And I also mentioned at this particular time that's coming home, I wanted to change. I had responsibility to my mom, responsibility to my young daughter at this time. You know what I mean? To not to get back out in the streets and commit crime, but to get back out here and try to, pick myself up and get a job, which I did. I wanted to start washing dishes. It wasn't paying much, and it was out the way. Nobody seen me do it. I was behind the restaurant. I was able to go in through the back door, come out the back door, go home. And I tried it for a while, but it wasn't paying enough. Because it could have been paying enough. I could have took that money, budgeted, and got some of the same things that I wanted over a period of time. But by me watching, my homeboys, like I mentioned, OJ and all my other little homeboys at the time, getting money, Paul, they coming through, baby Cadillacs. OJ had the fleet, the coupe on Orchards and Lowe's. If y'all don't know what that means, I'm talking about hammers. Dudes ride through clean on 30s and Lowe's and 50s and Lowe's. They coming through my age. 16, 17 years old, 15 years old. Two real long chunks on, nice looking good. And these same cats had respect for me on the inside. But now that I got out on the outside, they didn't have respect for me. But they still was shining. Ain't nobody, if you know anything about Miami, man, nobody ain't getting nobody nothing down there, man. You got to get it out the mud. That's the city that you definitely gonna have to get it out the mud, man. If you're gonna make it happen, you're gonna have to do it. In most cases. Right? In my situation, always been like that. And I ain't complaining. Because I always got it out the mud. You understand me? So now I'm out there trying to straddle the fence. Do I stay, trying to work this little job? Or do I get in the streets? But what was pushing me toward the streets more because I was pocket watching. I was seeing people in their seasons. A lot of us do that today right now. We see somebody in their season. It's worse than that. Since the social media. And we do the pricing of the clothing. It's way out of hand now. It done changed from the time that I went in and did it. Definitely, I just did 16 years in the feds and came home. So things is all, man. Listen. Back when I was in the streets getting money before I left and went to the feds, speeding up into the early 2000. Everybody was chasing a meal ticket. That was the theme on the street. That was the MO. I need a meal ticket. If y'all don't know what that means, $1 million, boy, and I'm on my own. And in the process of chasing that $1 million, we done had it. We done got it. But if we buying this, we buying that, because it's coming so fast. And we instead of watching others, we're not really having an exit plan. We're not really having a concrete plan of how to get this money, because we already taking penitentiary chances. In my cases, going up and down the road, trafficking drugs from Miami to other cities. I'm taking a chance, chasing this meal ticket. But I'm getting the money because I'm getting away. Most people, y'all, most of my guys that's in the streets, you know what I mean? You got the opportunity, you got the money. 10 times over. The meal that you were chasing, you got it. But you're constantly spending it on this, spending it on that, making it rain in the club. You know? And then once you sit down and you go do that time, you realize, once you start studying and realizing real estate, start realizing, you know, what it takes to start up business, how much cash flow you need. Well, I've seen people start up a startup business with $5,000, $10,000 at the most. Successful business, 500 Fortune companies now, right? And they need that meal ticket, but had a plan, had a budget, and had a strategy. That's my advice to y'all brothers and sisters that watching this video now. The OG is telling you, man, if you in them streets, I can't tell you how to get your money. Stop pocket watching. Stop looking at somebody else in their season. You know what I mean? And trust the process that you're in. Trust the process and the strategy that you done laid down, and the vision board you done put up, and the math that you done did, the homework you done did. Trust that process. Stop pocket watching. Stop playing catch up. Get yourself out of that frame of mind. Stop adding that added pressure onto you, man. You understand what I'm saying? Because it don't take all that. And you're going to realize that when you done took the last chance and you get snatched up off these folks' streets and end up in federal pressure. My other book that I got to take a moment to plug in. We'll talk about that. I am going to the feds, and when you're in the feds and you're in the prison cells, you have all the time in the world to reflect. And you're going to see what the OG is talking about. You're going to see the times when you could have said, well, man, I had enough money right then. I could have started this business. I could have started that real estate. I could have got that dump truck. I could have got that 18-wheeler. I could have started that clothing company that I've been thinking about doing. I could have got that food truck that I wanted to start it. It could have been the food truck you wanted to start it could have been a restaurant, franchise restaurant by now. But because you're playing catch up, because you're pocket watching, it's gonna never happen. It's gonna never happen. And that's the advice that the OG is gonna give. Just giving to y'all today, man. Stop pocket watching. Stop looking at everybody else in their season, especially these celebrities, man. They're setting the bar too high, man. I'm watching guys with $10,000 outfits on that don't want to put that outfit on for another day because they done posted it on the page and they scared and they done added a press. They don't want nobody else to think that they have to wear it again. It's so crazy, man. It's so crazy how we're making these designer companies, Louis, Gucci, Prada, Balenciaga, however you pronounce it. We're making all these companies wealthy. Not just rich, wealthy. And we're never starting our own business. Because we're pocket watching. We're playing catch up. Envy, jealousy is all in pocket watching. Whether you like it or not, man. If you're trying to keep up with the Joneses and not worrying about when you'll see everybody gonna have their season, man. Trust me. If you put the right type of work into it, man. I shared from y'all my book Pressure, man, and that's what that book. And I asked God to use my story, man, to enlighten my young brothers that's in the streets, man. If you're a young brother, you watching my video today, man. Stop playing catch up. If you're just coming home from prison, don't put yourself in that bag when you playing catch up, man. It's a marathon. That's what I love about Nipsey Hussle, man. Rest in peace, man. He gave us some jewels before he left, man. We running a marathon. This ain't a sprint. This ain't the 400. This ain't the 200. This ain't the 100. We're not sprinting. Cause when you go fast, everything you end up in, you know what I mean? A hard situation, man. I tell y'all all the time, man, everything the OG talk about over here is graveyard serious and penitentiary still hard, man. Because them the two places you're going when you're going fast out here in these streets, playing catch up. Nipsey Hussle had a brand called the Marathon, man. There were jewels in that. In a marathon, you run your own pace. Because you got a long distance goal in this life, man. If you listen and you take heed, God will bless you with a longer life, man. This your boy OG Gigaveli, man. I'm dropping jewels, man. I want to see my young people win, man. Get my book, Pressure. Hit the link tree in my bio, man. Pass it on to a young cat, man. Let him know, man. Know me? I've been where he at. I went through some of the same pressures, man. And now this is how I'm trying to give you some advice to overcome those pressures, man. Shout out to everybody that's been supporting the book. Shout out to Miami, man. Y'all know what it is, man. Let's make Miami great again. This your boy OG Gigaveli with another episode of Street Code of Conduct. Start playing catch up.